Hello and welcome back to the channel. As you are all aware, we will soon be returning back to school in September, and I wanted to just share some videos with you that I'm going to be doing in the next few months. These are back to school lessons to get ahead videos. They're going to be maths primarily, and they're going to be everything that the school's going to be teaching your children when they go back. And these videos are designed to help your child get slightly ahead of what the content is they're going to be looking at when they go back to school. This is the year 6 video, but I'm going to do a video for year 5, 4, 3 as well. So all of key stage 2. So let's begin. The objectives of this video, are to help the children recognize numbers up to 1 million, which is what they are expected to do in year 6. We'll look at numbers up to 10,000, hundreds of thousands, and then finally millions. So let's start off by looking at something called a place value chart. So this is a chart that can help children understand big numbers like millions. I've written some numbers down underneath here, 1,525. So I'm going to just use this place value chart to write that number in. We've got a 1 in the thousands column. We've got 5 in the hundreds column. We've got a 2 in the tens column, and we've got a 5 in the ones column. Now, what you try to encourage the children to do as well is to have a comma here after the thousands. So that's the first one. The second one, the numbers get slightly bigger. So with this number, we've actually got 5 digits. So we're going to start with the ones. So here we've got 0 ones. In this number, we've got 0 tens. We've got 3 hundreds on this occasion. We've got 5 thousands, and we've got 2 tens of thousands. Okay, this TH here is thousands. I've just shortened it. And once again, we're going to put a comma after 25. So that number reads 25,300. Okay, and the next one, again, getting slightly bigger. We've got a number here. We've got 6 digits in it this time. So it's starting from the ones again. We've got 0 ones. We've got 0 tens. We've got 4 in the hundreds column. We've got 2 in the thousands column. We've got 6 in the tens of thousands columns, which would be 60,000. And then we've got 1 in the hundreds of thousands columns. So this number, when we read it out, is 162,400. And again, putting the comma in between the thousands and the hundreds. Number 4, 560,000. So we have another number. It's got 6 digits in it, but it's slightly larger. So starting from the 0 ones, 0 tens, we have 0 hundreds in this number. We also have 0 thousands as well. But we do have 6 in the tens of thousands column and 5 in the hundreds of thousands columns. So this number would read 560,000. 0 hundreds, 0 tens, and 0 ones. But we wouldn't need to say that. We would just need to say 560,000. And finally, working our way up to the numbers that you'll need to know in year 6, we've got a number here and we have 7 digits. So we've got 7 digits, we've got a number here, and then we've got 6 other digits after that. So we're going to have 0 in the ones, 0 in the tens, 5 in the hundreds, 0 in the thousands, 0 in the tens of thousands, 0 in the hundreds of thousands, but we have got a 2 in the millions column. And when we get to millions, we have a comma, another one after millions, and then we'll have a comma after thousands. So when we read this number, it is 2,500,000. Okay, so that's essentially what the children would need to be able to do. So let's run through a couple more slides to help them understand this a bit more. So numbers up to 1 million. You can also represent numbers using counters in images such as the one you can see here. So each counter represents 1, but they all are in different columns. Once again, we're using the shortened versions here. So this is ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, and hundreds of thousands. So what you're asked to do is to write down the value of this number. What number is represented here? So if I just write this down, I've got 2 in the ones, so we're going to call that 2. I've got 4 in the tens column, so each of these counters represents 10. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40. We've got 1 in the hundreds column, so that would be 100. So 142 so far. We've got 5 in the thousands column, so that will be 5,000. We've got 3 in the tens of thousands column, so that's 30,000. And we've got 2, 4, 6, 7 in the hundreds of thousands, which would be 700,000. So when we read this number, okay, remembering our comma after the thousands, we've got 735,142, and that's the number that we would need to write down in the box provided. So there you can see how the counters are now representing the number in the place value chart. So have a look at these two then. I'm just going to give you a few minutes. Pause the video if you want to see if you can work these out for yourself. Remember, this is a lesson, so the idea is that you interact with some of the questions as well. Okay, so here we're looking at this one. We've got 3 in the tens of thousands. Sorry, we've got 3 in the tens column. We've got 4 in the thousands. We've got 6 in the tens of thousands. Now, don't forget that even though there's nothing in these columns, we still need to put a digit in as a placeholder. Otherwise, this number would read 643, but it isn't. So we need a 0 in the ones column, and we need a 0 in the hundreds column, giving us a number of 64,030, because we don't have any hundreds and we don't have any ones. Once again, with this one, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 in the ones column. We've got 6 in the hundreds column. We've got 5 in the thousands column. And we've got 2 in the hundreds of thousands columns. Now, just as I said before, we cannot leave these blank, so we're going to put a 0 in here as a placeholder and a 0 in here as a placeholder, remembering a comma after the thousands. So here, this number now reads 205,609. So, moving on. Have a go at this one. Pause the video here and see if you can do this one on your own. Okay, how did you get on? So I got 2 in the ones column, 7 in the thousands column, 1 in the tens of thousands column, and 3 in the hundreds of thousands of column. So if I put my comma in after thousands, this number now reads 317,020, because we have 0 in the hundreds and 0 in the ones. So we would write that in the box provided. Okay, so your turn. 2 more questions for you to have a look at. Remember, this is a lesson, so I do wish you to interact with it, and that's how we're going to learn, you by doing more and me by doing less. So, what numbers are represented in the place value charts? Have a go at these questions. This time I'm going to pause. You can pause the video here, have a go at them, and I'll reveal the answer. Okay, how did you get on with the first one? So I got 2 in the hundreds of thousands columns, 3 in the tens of thousands, 5 in the thousands columns, 7 in the hundreds, and 1 in the tens, and 4 in the ones. Now, what do you notice about this place value chart that is different from the other one? Well, here they've put another column in and grouped all of these together because they represent ones. So you've got 700 ones here. And over here they've grouped these 3 together because they represent thousands. So this is 5 1,000s. This is 3 tens of thousands, and this is 2 hundreds of thousands. But when we add that all together, we get a final answer of 235,714. Now try the next one. Okay, so what did you get? I got 7 in the tens of thousands column. I got 2 in the thousands column, 0 in the hundreds. I got 1 in the tens, and I got 8 in the ones, which means that this number is 72,000, 0 hundreds and 18. So that's how we would read that number. It is 72,018. Okay, well done. All right, so 2 more to have a look at. 2 more to have a look at. And again, I want you to try these without my help. Okay, so I got 305,260, which would be the answer to this one. I can write the number in the box there. And this one has got in it, we've got 5 in the hundreds of thousands column. We have 0 tens of thousands. We've got 0 ones, 1,000, sorry. We have 0 in the hundreds column. We have 0 in the tens column. And we have 4 ones. So you can get numbers like this. You can get any kind of numbers up to 1,000,000, where you may just have a value in the hundreds of thousands digits or in the ones digits. But when we read this number, we have got 500,000, a comma would go there, and 4. 500,000 and 4. Making sure that I put all of those digits in the correct columns. Okay, moving on. A different variation of question that you can get is something like this. So circle any numbers that have 3 in the thousands column. So this time we haven't got the place value chart to help us. So we have to kind of remember where these digits are coming within the columns here. So we know that that's ones, tens, hundreds, tens of thousands, and we've got thousands. This one's got hundreds of thousands. This one's got tens of thousands. This one's got thousands. This one's got hundreds. But it says circle any numbers that have a 3 in the thousands column. So the thousands column would be the 4th column. So this one has a 2, so that's not what we're looking for. This one in the 4th column has a 0, so that's not what we're looking for. This one has a 3, but it's in the 3rd column, which is the hundreds, not the thousands, so that's not what we're looking for. This one has 3 in the thousands, okay, which is the 4th column, which is what we're looking for here. And this one has a 3 in the hundreds column, which is the 3rd column. So out of those numbers there, the one that has the 3 in the thousands column is this one here. Okay, so write the value of the 6 in each of these numbers. So this is something you can have a go at as well. So pause the video here if you want to have a crack at this on your own. But this time we're looking, write the value of the 6 in each of the numbers. So we're looking at the columns and to try and work out where the 6 falls. So I'm going to do a couple as well. So the 6 here is in the 3rd column. So the value of that 6 is 6 hundredths. Okay. In B, the 6 also appears in the 3rd column. So the value of that is also 6 hundredths. In C, the 6 appears in the 4th column, which would be the thousands. The value of that is 6 thousands. In D, the 6 appears in the 6th column, which would be the hundreds of thousands. So here we would have 6, and this time I'm going to write it as digits, so 600,000. And just bear in mind that you wouldn't write the other digits because it's only asking for the value of the 6. In E, we've got 6 in the very first column, so that will be 6 or 6 ones. Both answers would be correct. And the final one, the 6 appears in the thousands column, so this one would be 6,000. Okay, so that's just a different variation on these place value questions, but the understanding is still the same. Being able to recognize which digit, where the digits appear and what the value of each of those digits would be, depending on the column that they're appearing in. Okay, so how does this apply to the SATs? So how the children will be assessed at these types of questions. This is actually taken from an old SATs paper, so this is a question that children were asked to do. And you can see you're giving us a blank box here, equals 6,000 plus 90. So in this question, the children are being asked to add the 6,000 and the 90 together and being able to write it correctly. So we're going to have 0 in the hundreds, 0 in the tens, or are we? No, we're going to have 9 in the tens and then 0 in the ones because we're going to have the 6 from the thousands and the 9s from the tens. Okay, another style of SATs question was this time giving the sum at the beginning, and then you've got to come up with a calculation to work out what the missing number is. So here we've got 826. We've got the 800. We've got the 6. So the missing part of this number is the 2 and the 0. So it's the 20 that's missing here. Okay, because we've got the 2 which appears in the middle column, which would represent 2 tens, which is 20. And finally, working our way up to millions here. This is also another old stats question. We've got 3,050,020. So the children would have to be able to read that number, working it out by what digits fall in what columns, and then work out what the missing part is. So when we call this to deconstruct, to partition a number, partitioning it into the different parts. We've got 3 million plus something plus 20. So we've got the 20, that's there. We've got the 3 million, that's there. But what's missing is the 5, and that appears in the tens of thousands column. So it would be the 50,000 that is missing. Okay, so there's a couple of stat style questions. And just to finish off, here's some examples for you to try at home. Complete the number sentences, very similar to those stats questions. We've got 630,520. We've got the 600,000. We've got the 500. So what two parts are missing? 700,987. We've got to put all of those parts in, starting with the 100,000s. 500,000, 4,703. You've got to write the number when you put all of those parts back together. Okay, I'd like you to have a go at these on your own at home, okay, as practice for these types of questions. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to be doing more lessons of different content that's going to be coming up every week to help your children and to help you stay ahead in your maths lessons. Please subscribe to the channel if you would like more videos on primary education, and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.